Oh yes, I've called you to be a music minister. But how are you going to express that calling? It will be through germination. You will begin to know. This is why we subject ourselves to prayer. They have said all kinds of things about us in this city. Oh, they just pray anyhow. How can you call young people to pray for 10 hours? What you are doing is that you are watering the seed. You sit with God. You open scriptures. You look at people who have gone ahead of you. You begin to learn where they succeeded, where they failed. You begin to carve your own place in the chronicles of the great immortal. You begin to prepare yourself for what it is. Why do you think that after Damascus Road, the first place Paul went to was the wilderness? Why do you think? Because Damascus was the implantation of a seed. It was conception. He said, I will show him what he must suffer. Paul ran into the wilderness. In that time of germination, those are the days you struggle with your identity. Say, God, how are you going to use me like this? You do all of that in the secret. It's germination. Because at conception, the belly has not started growing. Nobody knows you are pregnant. You are still looking as useless, as casual, as ordinary as anybody. But in that season, that is when you wrestle with the tough questions. Lord, but remember I was in a cult. He said, if I can use Paul, I can use you. Lord, remember, I've slept with all kinds of people. I'm no longer pure. I allowed you to go through that so that you will come out with a message. Now when you begin to talk to people who have been broken, your word will be like healing fire. It is in that place of germination, confidence will begin to grow. You embrace your calling. You love what you look like. Certain days, God will appear to you and show you 25 years ahead. All of that is to encourage you, not so that you can run, but so you can stay. So that he will walk in you. What will give you capacity to become what he has shown you. But you know what most people do during germination? When they see 25 years ahead, they run and go and open a ministry. Yet, germination has not been completed. God must tell you how. I came back from youth service and I called my mother to a meeting. And I said, Mommy, look, I've been in this denomination for many years. But you see, in 2003, I was in my hostel when the great one came like a man into my room. And he began to tell me, he said, you can't last in a denomination. What is on you is apostolic. I didn't understand it then. My wife has seen those notes. She will tell you. I wrote them in 2003. I still preserve it. Till today. I still preserve it. I didn't understand. At that time, this thing we are doing was not popular. I just knew that I would not be in a regular church setting. My mother was asking me questions like, where you go to go on Sunday morning? I said, I don't know. But you see, all I know is that what God has called me to do is outside of the denomination. Then when I got married, I'll be sharing these things with my wife. But she'll say, not now. We still need to stay here. The year that we were to leave, our wheels aligned in the spirit. I had begun to sense it. I told her, my wife began to say, it's time. It's time. Something will happen to say, we can't stay here anymore. I just knew it was a sign in the spirit that he had aligned. I'm not doing this thing because this is what it's popular to be done now. 2003. How many years ago is that? 20 years. You are in too much of a hurry. You don't know how and you have begun running. That's why you have partnered with witch doctors and you call them men of God. You don't know how you have started running. That's why you are applying for visa. Applying for visa. Applying for visa. They are rejecting you. That's why you are doing all kind. You are doing trial and error. You try this one, it doesn't work. You have had 62 fathers in the Lord since last year. 62 men are your father in the Lord. You submit to this one today because you don't want to endure process. You look for the next happening preacher. You are living in Nigeria. Your father in the Lord is in Australia. You've never had any contact, spoken with him. You just like association. It's because you don't know how. It's not just association that makes great destinies. It's that God will show you how. When God has finished showing you how, your pregnancy will come to term. At the point your pregnancy comes to term, that's when God begins to tell you when. When is the season of manifestation?